original.
And I'm in love with the money.
Today, I decided to talk about taxes and the impact of taxes on our retirement plan. And I know there's been a lot of talk recently, especially with the planned or proposed increase in capital gains tax from up to 67% almost, right? And this is a big deal, right? Because as we plan for our retirement, we have certain investment options available to us. And one of the things that investors do is buy assets, right? Assets that will appreciate in value, and they want to benefit from that appreciation, leverage that appreciation, possibly to fund their retirement. And with the higher taxes, that means we have less available to us when that time comes, or when we plan to utilize those gains. More of it goes to the government and less is available to us. So we need to think about what tools we're using to grow our wealth, to ensure that when it comes time to access that wealth, we are able to access in the most tax efficient way. Right? So when we think about our income for retirement, right, we have to think about how much taxes do we want to pay? Do we want to pay 25%, 50%? And how much income do we need, right? So for example, if say we had $10,000 and we found ourselves in a 25% tax bracket, that would mean that we'd have 7,500 available to us to fund our retirement. With that same 10,000, if we're in a 50% tax bracket, how much does that mean we have disposable for our spending? Just $5,000. Another situation, say we want to ensure that we have that 7,500, but we're in that 50% tax bracket. That means we actually have to withdraw more in order to satisfy the tax pay bill as well as fund our lifestyle. So hopefully this graph shows you the implications of taxes on your cash flow during retirement. So the goal would be to ensure that you have a lower tax bill at retirement, right? And we're not going to depend on the tax rates going down, because who thinks that's likely, that the tax rates will go down in the future? I'm thinking not likely. We are already seeing the signs that tax rates will go up, because guess what? The government has significant debt, and it's up to us as taxpayers to actually foot that bill, right? So they will be wanting more and more as that debt goes up from us in order to fund their spending. So what will impact our taxes in the future will depend on the financial tools that we put to use for us today, right? And there are certain tools that we take into consideration when we're planning for retirement. And when you're planning for retirement, just to know, right, we're living longer. So that means retirement is going to potentially last longer. So we want our dollars to go as far as they can. And the less of a tax burden that we have during that period of time means the more we are able to stretch that dollar, right? Because we'll be required to pull out less to pay our taxes. So we have certain pools of capital available to us at retirement. We have our pension plans. This could be our government pension plans or our employer pension plans. So for those lucky persons who are employed and you have an employer that does pay into your pensions, great. You have that in your arsenal. But apparently for most Canadians, they might not have this, an employer pension. The other tool is our registered retirement savings plan and or non-registered investments, which can be stocks, bonds, real estate, everything else really falls into that bucket. And then you have your tax-free savings account and your tax-exempt life insurance. So everything on the left-hand side, at least my left, which is the pension plans, registered retirement, and your non-registered investments, these pools of capital, once you start to use them, they become taxable at different tax rates, but they are taxable. On the right, your tax-free savings account and your tax-exempt life insurance, these pools of capital you can access later in life without triggering taxes, right? So what kind of retirement do you want to build? If you want to build a retirement that is more tax efficient, I would say lean towards the tools on the right. Maximize your tax-free savings account and your tax-exempt life insurance. If you can, use all the tools, but of course, where do you want the weighting to be heaviest? So let's look at these individually. So pensions, if you're reliant on your CPP, the current maximum for 2024 is $1,300. The average as of October last year was roughly $760, right? So when you think of these numbers, do you think they will be sufficient to fund your retirement? Do you know anybody who is currently reliant on government pensions right now? How are they doing? Are they able to manage? Well, just looking at the numbers, it might be enough to buy groceries, right? So you definitely need more. So consider whether or not this will be enough, right? And then for a registered retirement savings plan, it's a very popular one. Some employers do offer matching. And if you have that opportunity, I would recommend that you max it out, right? It's like free money, right? And it is being put towards your retirement. You're likely to have the option to choose the underlying investment when you have like an employer registered retirement savings plan. It is a tax deferral tool, and it's more suited for high income owners to leverage this tool, right? And anybody who has an employer matching, I say take advantage of it. But if you don't, when you're using this tool, consider the potential tax savings, right? Now compared to in the future, right? So you should use this tool strategically to ensure that you're maximizing whatever tax benefit. When you hit the age of 71, it matures and you have to start using it. You can't put anything more to it. The government sets the rules with this product, right? They tell you when, they tell you how much, and they set the rules. So use it. Of course, it's a benefit, but use it strategically. Non-registered investments. This is basically everything else, right? Your stocks, your bonds. If it's non-registered, your real estate, your business. These are non-registered investments. The income that you derive from these, whether it be interest, dividends, capital gains, these are taxed differently. Okay, so we've dealt with the left-hand side of the chart. Now we're looking at the right-hand side. Tax-free savings account. With the tax-free savings account, anything you earn inside of it is never taxed, right? It's after-tax dollars that you use. So yes, you don't get the benefit in the current year of using this tool, but guess what? You know that everything else after that is tax-free, right? So use it efficiently. Maximize the return that you can earn inside of your tax-free savings account. Build this pool of capital because when you hit retirement, withdrawing from these won't trigger any taxes. It won't trigger any government clawbacks of government benefits. Yes, so I'd say maximize this tool. The limitation here is that, of course, the government does set the limits each year, right? And they're fairly low. So you might want to definitely take advantage of this. And personally, I believe it pairs well with the next option. And this is your tax-exempt life insurance. This is building up cash value inside of your permanent life insurance policy. With this option, similar to the TFSA or RSP, anything, the growth inside of this is tax exempt. And you can use this tool over your lifetime. So it doesn't need to be rolled into a RIF at 71. Similar to the tax free, you can use this over your lifetime. You can grow wealth inside of it, tax exempt, and the limits are set somewhat by you, right? It's determined by the coverage, the amount of coverage that you purchase. And what I do love about this, right? They always say you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, guess what? With this option, you actually can have your cake and eat it too. I've had my cake and eaten it with this option. Why? Because you're able to leverage the asset that you're creating inside of your life insurance policy. This fund value that you're building, after a while, you'll be able to leverage it, whether it would be to pursue other investment opportunities or to pay down high interest debt, or maybe to just fund a vacation at a lower interest rate, right? So you're actually building asset, just similar to building equity in your home that you can leverage in the future to pursue other opportunities. And also, it's a tool that you can use to fund your retirement. And there are very different strategies to accessing cash from your life insurance policy. And this includes collateral loans. You can do policy loans and you can do withdrawals, right? Each method has a different tax implication, right? So I personally, I've been in Canada for less than 15 years. My employers, for the time that I was employed, didn't put much towards my retirement. So I knew that I needed to put something in place personally for my retirement. And this is a tool that I have been using to build wealth for myself, tax exempt. I still have access to market type returns. I benefit from the returns of the S&P 500, NASDAQ, right? Whatever asset class I prefer inside of my life insurance policy. And I've leveraged this asset that I've built already on several occasions to help with my overall financial plan. The idea, though, is that it's after tax dollars that you do put into this investment option, right? So there is no current year tax break. But again, you get to leverage it in the future tax free, right? Again, you get to leverage it in the future tax free. And this is how you craft the future that you want, by choosing the tools that you put into play for you now. With a life insurance policy, of course, right? You're giving your dollar multiple jobs. In that, you are protecting your family, right? So if something happens in the short term, my family will benefit from a tax-free lump sum payout, right? So the mortgage will be paid off, my kids' college funds will be set, right? I'll be able to ensure that my parents are taken care of, or whatever else I need the peace of mind with, that will be taken care of with my lump sum tax-free payout should something happen to me in the short run. And in the long run, because I'm investing inside of my policy and it's growing tax exempt, right? My policy actually pays me bonuses, which is great, right? I'm creating an asset that I can leverage in the future to access cash tax-free. And because I'm leveraging it, I'm using the value of the asset. The asset still stays intact. I'm accessing funds, leveraging the value, not actually touching the asset, which means the asset continues to grow over time, even while I'm accessing the value. And because the asset is growing over time, as with the other options that we have, the RRSPs and the tax-free savings, once we start to access them, the balance goes down and down and down. The opposite happens with my cash value life insurance because the asset value goes up and up and up, right? So that way I know that my money will last me more than likely a lifetime by using this tool. So I just wanted to introduce you to the idea of crafting your own retirement, right? Craft your own retirement. And you can do this by choosing the tools that you leverage today, that you invest in today to design that life for tomorrow, right? So, how much taxes do you want to pay? We've mentioned the 5 pools of capital. So, pensions, whether they be government or employer, the registered retirement plan, your non registered investing, your tax free savings account, and your tax exempt life insurance policy. Pensions, RSPs, non registered investing will be taxed. Your TFSA and your tax exempt life insurance, you can access cash without taxation and without triggering government benefit clawbacks. So, what I have on screen is just an idea, right? By building up first my pools for TFSA and my tax exempt life insurance. Currently, in my tax exempt life insurance, I could dump in a couple hundred K into it and have that grow tax exempt, right? For your tax free savings, I think if you hadn't used it before, you'd probably be about in the low 90s to investment room, right? So putting those tools together, earning a good return in those tools that you don't have to claw out taxes in the current year for, that's can help your money grow faster, right? By not having to pay taxes, your money grows faster. So designing that life where you will be accessing CPP, your OS, your pensions, and your RSP in those lower tax brackets, right? You could be paying taxes at say 22 or 35, and these are just rounded tax brackets, right? And then have even more income flowing to you from your TFSAs and your tax exempt life insurance that you don't have to pay taxes on. So again, you can employ your tax exempt life insurance as an individual or as a corporate, right? So look at these tools, how you can leverage them to safeguard your future by providing that safety net for your family, as well create a way to grow your wealth tax efficiently, providing the opportunity for you to access the cash during retirement tax efficiently. And if you don't feel that now is the time, I'm going to share some stats with you. Right now in Canada, almost 50% of persons between the age of 55 and 64 who are not yet retired have less than $5,000 saved. We cannot leave our retirement to chance. You actually have to plan your retirement. So if you want to hear more about these tools, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me at info@moneymattersca.com, or my number is 647-951-6905. I'll be happy to share more about these tools with you, about how you can craft your future, craft the life that you deserve, craft your retirement so you can alleviate the worry associated with it. How long is your money going to last? That's a worry. How much taxes will I have to carve out of the money that I have to pay, right? So think about this. Reach out to me if you'd like to hear more. I'm happy to have a conversation. Again, this is Cardine. Thank you so much for listening.